Welcome back to Have More Babies.
Great to be here.
Today we're jumping into something really exciting, but maybe a little daunting too. Designing the nursery for your newborn.
Oh, yeah. It's a big step.
Yeah.
So much anticipation, but yeah, lots of choices.
Exactly. Where do you even start? It can feel overwhelming.
It can. But creating that perfect little space, it's totally doable. We want to help simplify that today.
We do. We've been looking at some really solid advice from the folks at Omega Pediatrics. They're based in Roswell and Alpharetta, Georgia.
They have a great article on this.
Yeah, really practical stuff. So our plan is to pull out their key insights, make them easy to use, whether you've got a huge room or a tiny corner, big budget, or watching the pennies.
The goal is a space that works for baby and works for you too. Function and beauty.
So maybe before we dive in, a quick thought for everyone listening.
Yeah.
What's top of your list? When you picture that nursery, what's the first thing you think, I absolutely need that?
Good question to start with. Priorities.
Okay, so let's lay the groundwork. Before paint chips and cute mobiles, Omega Pediatrics stresses looking at the actual room, the basic.
Right. You got to assess the space you have. Like, what's the shape? Square, long and narrow.
Uh-huh. And the light, big window, small one. Where does the sun come in?
Exactly. And things like, where are the doors? Is there a closet already?
Yeah.
All these existing features, they kind of dictate your layout possibilities.
Understanding that first saves headaches later, right?
Totally. And speaking of crucial first steps, safety and just how the room functions. This has got to be number one.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Omega Pediatrics even mentioned getting advice from a seasoned pediatrician. Look for safety seals, recognize certifications on furniture.
Yes. Are those cribs, the changing tables, are they up to current standards? It's so important.
And functionality, think about middle of the night diaper changes.
Oh, yeah. You need supplies within arm's reach. Clothes, easy to grab. You don't want to be searching for things.
And obviously, anything potentially dangerous needs to be way, way out of reach. Seems obvious, but worth repeating.
Always. Okay, so the practical side. What about the budget? Because let's face it, babies aren't cheap.
Right. But the good news from Omega Pediatrics is you can create a lovely nursery without breaking the bank. It's possible.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's about being smart with where the money goes. They suggest focusing on the absolute must-haves first.
Like a safe crib.
Definitely. A good safe crib, a practical changing station, maybe one with storage built in.
Good idea. And somewhere to put clothes.
Right. Get those core pieces sorted. Then, if there's room in the budget, you can look at the extras, the decor.
Okay, practicality's covered. Space, safety, budget. Now for the fun stuff, color. Omega Pediatrics really highlights how color sets the whole vibe of the room.
It really does. And they can even, affect mood. Softer colors tend to feel calmer, which is great for sleep.
Makes sense.
Whereas brighter colors, they can be more stimulating. Maybe something to think about more as they get a little older into toddlerhood.
Interesting. So what kind of themes are popular or work well? Omega Pediatrics mentioned a few.
Yeah, lots of options. Gender neutral is always popular. Think grays, beige, maybe a nice off-white. Very versatile.
Or you could go classic pastel. Soft pinks, blues, greens. Very calming.
Definitely calming. Or if you want something more energetic, maybe pops of yellow, orange, even red accents.
Ooh, accents. That's a good way to use bright colors without it being overwhelming.
Exactly. And they also mention nature themes. Greens, browns, blues. Very soothing, too.
So how do you choose? There are so many options.
Well, think about the room again. How much natural light does it get? Light changes how colors look.
True.
And room size. Lighter colors can make a small room feel bigger,
Right, that old trick.
And honestly, just your personal taste. You spend a lot of time in there, too.
Good point. Omega Pediatrics had a neat tip. Maybe start neutral, like a neutral wall color.
Yeah, neutral base. Then bring in color with, like, bedding, curtains, maybe a rug, wall art.
That way you can change things up more easily later, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And think about those calming shades. Maybe blues or greens for the main elements.
Yeah.
And does it flow with the rest of your house? Doesn't have to match perfectly, but maybe complement it.
Yeah, a nice flow. And maybe test out paint samples first. See them in the actual light.
Always a good idea. Don't be afraid to experiment a little to find the right balance.
Okay, colors decided. Now, furniture and decor. What are the absolute essentials according to Omega Pediatrics?
Well, the crib, obviously. Safe, sturdy. A changing table again. Stability is key. And storage nearby is super helpful.
Uh-huh.
A dresser for clothes. And then that comfortable chair. A glider or rocker.
Ah, yes, the feeding and soothing station. So many hours spent there.
You bet. Essential for parents. Once you have those basics, then you can think about the fun decor stuff, personalizing it.
Like wall art. Or maybe some nice throw pillows.
Yeah, pillows, blankets in your chosen colors, adds texture and warmth. The article suggested things like name banners or maybe monogrammed bedding if that's your style.
Makes it feel really theirs.
It does. And some decor can be practical too. Think about nice storage baskets that match your theme.
Oh, good one. Storage and style.
Exactly. Just make sure any decor is baby safe. Nothing small they could choke on, nothing fragile, durable stuff.
Right. Safety first. Always. Okay, you mentioned storage baskets. Let's talk storage solutions, because babies come with so much stuff. Omega Pediatrics points this out too.
It's incredible, isn't it? Even tiny babies. So much gear.
So especially if the nursery is small, how do you manage it all?
Multifunctional furniture is your friend. That changing table with drawers underneath? Perfect. Or as some cribs have storage space below.
Using vertical space too, maybe? Shelves?
Definitely. Wall shelves are great. Maximize every inch you can.
And once you have the storage, how do you keep it organized? Omega Pediatrics had some good, actionable tips.
Yeah, simple but effective things like label drawers or shelf pins makes finding things so much quicker.
Especially at 3 a.m.
Exactly. Use smaller baskets inside drawers for tiny things like socks or hair bows.
Keeps them from getting lost.
Have a laundry system, a hamper right there. Don't let it pile up. Too much.
Easier said than done sometime.
True. And maybe have a separate bin for clothes they grow out of so fast.
Oh, good idea. Get them out of the main rotation.
Yeah. And just try to declutter regularly. Pass on things you don't need anymore.
These sound simple, but yeah, doing them consistently probably makes a huge difference to keeping the room usable and, well, less stressful.
Absolutely. A tidy space helps create a calm space. Which brings us to ambiance, lighting.
Right. Omega Pediatrics talks about balancing warmth with being sleep-friendly.
Yeah, you want it cozy, but also dark enough for naps and nighttime. So think layers of light. Use that natural light during the day.
And for artificial light.
A main ceiling light is good for overall brightness when you need it, but then add softer options.
Like a lamp or a nightlight.
Exactly. A small lamp near the changing table or the glider. A dim nightlight so you can see without, flooding the room with light. Dimmer switches on the main light are fantastic.
Oh, dimmers are a great call. Total control.
Yeah, really useful. And beyond lights, how else can you make it feel calm? Omega Pediatrics had some other ideas.
They mentioned a white noise machine.
Yeah, it helps to block out other household sounds, creates a consistent sound environment, which can really help with sleep.
Okay, what else?
Think texture and sound absorption. A soft rug feels nice underfoot and dampens noise. Blackout curtains are great for daytime naps.
Good point. Keep it dark and cozy.
And maybe adding a touch of nature, a safe plant or some natural wood elements. It could just add to that peaceful feeling.
Little things that make a big difference to the overall feel.
Totally. They add up to create that serene atmosphere for everyone.
Okay, last big topic. Making it personal. This is where you really make it your baby's room, right?
Absolutely. This is about infusing your family's personality. Omega Pediatrics suggests custom wall art, maybe something handmade.
Or family heirlooms, like a special quilt grandma made.
Yes, things like that are wonderful. Or maybe a special toy from your own childhood, if it's safe to display. Those connections are lovely.
And they mentioned DIY ideas, too, for people feeling creative.
Yeah, you could make your own mobile lots of tutorials online for that. Or create a gallery wall with family photos.
A mural, maybe, if you're artistic.
Could be. Even a simple pattern. It doesn't have to be complicated. The point is adding those unique touches that tell your family's story.
Love that. It's those details that make it feel special, not just functional.
Exactly. So wrapping it all up, what's the big takeaway from Omega Pediatrics advice?
I think it's that balance, isn't it? Aesthetics making it look nice, but always balancing that with usability and, crucially, safety.
That's the core message.
Yep.
A beautiful nursery is great, but it has to work well and be a secure environment first and foremost.
And you don't need to do a massive overhaul necessarily. Even small tweaks to an existing space can improve things.
Definitely. It's an ongoing process sometimes.
So as you're listening, maybe think about one small thing you could do today. Just one step.
Yeah. Maybe look up crib safety standards, or browse some color palettes online, or just measure the room.
Little steps move you forward. And if you want to dive much deeper into creating a safe, healthy space for your baby, and for all things pediatric care.
Please do visit omegapediatrics.com. They have a wealth of information, details on their services, lots of resources there.
That's omegapediatrics.com. Really worth checking out for more expert guidance.
Absolutely.
And hey, if this chat was helpful for you today, we'd love it if you gave this video a like.
And make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll have more discussions like this coming up.
Yep, hit subscribe, and please share this with any friends or family who are expecting. They might find it useful too.
Thank you so much for tuning in and exploring nursery design with us.
It's been great. Goodbye for now.